Kamala Harris's and Donald Trump's approaches to running the country aren't the only things that set them apart. Their personal net worths are about as similar as night and day. So, let's break it all down. First up, Donald Trump. Now, Trump's finances are like one of those complicated thrillers. Lots of twists, a few plot holes, and a big cast of characters. And to be honest, it's tough to pin down his exact net worth.
How much are you worth right now as you're sitting right here?
Zero idea, David. It depends on what's happening with the world and the market. But the $1 million for each person in the audience sounds like it could be an intriguing idea.
Yeah.
According to Forbes, as of September 9th, Trump was sitting at about $4 billion. Oh, I know what you're thinking. Wasn't it higher before? And you'd be right. Back in May, the same guys over at Forbes said he was worth around $6.9 billion. Bloomberg, on the other hand, gave him an even more generous estimate of $7.67 billion. But, like a stock market roller coaster, Trump's fortune dropped about $3 billion since then. Tough break, Don.
Steve, you're going to have to start pushing these people now a little bit, because it's getting a little ridiculous as far as I'm concerned.
Now, where did all this money come from? Well, despite Trump's claims of being a self-made man, let's just say he had a little help along the way. Trump's father, Fred Trump, was a big-time real estate developer, and he wasn't shy about sharing the wealth with his son.
I went to work for a wonderful father. I had a great father, and I did a good job, and he liked me. He thought I was good.
In fact, the New York Times reported that Donald received at least $413 million, adjusted for 2018 prices, from his father's business empire. That's more than a small loan of $1 million by a long shot. I mean, if Trump was a millionaire by age 8, most of us were still figuring out how to not lose our lunch money.
You know, you look much richer in person.
By the late 60s, Trump had joined the family business, and by 1971, he was president, taking control while Fred focused on Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island. Donald set his sights on Manhattan, quipping, "This way, I got Manhattan all to myself." And it wasn't just ambition. Fred was heavily involved in Donald's early ventures, financially backing him through loans totaling over $14 million. So, the Trump name didn't just open doors, it built them.
Have you ever been fired?
I've never been fired.
No?
I've never been fired. I've never had the privilege.
Fred Trump funneled money to his son through nearly 300 revenue streams over 5 decades. Trump's been the beneficiary of several trust funds since he was 3 years old. Yes, you read that right. Little Donald was a millionaire before most of us could spell allowance. By the time Fred passed away in 1999, his will divvied up $20 million after taxes among his surviving kids.
The truth is, I'm actually a modest person, very modest. It's true.
And Donald? Well, he was already cashing in by the early 80s. He even borrowed $9.6 million from his father's estate in 2007. But don't worry, he says he paid it back with interest.
You know, I started off in Brooklyn. My father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
Yes. Just a small loan of $1 million.
Fred Trump also handed Donald some sweet real estate deals at less than market rates, which might explain a little issue with the tax department. But hey, it's not a Trump story without a tax fraud investigation, right?
Did you use that $916 million loss to avoid paying personal federal income taxes?
Of course I do. Of course I do.
Fast forward to today, and Trump's real estate ventures, luxury hotels, casinos, golf courses, and the ever-controversial Trump-branded products, yes, Trump steaks were a thing, still contribute to his financial empire.
You must be incredibly busy.
I am busy. I get up very early.
But here's the kicker. His net worth skyrocketed by at least $1 billion after an assassination attempt at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Forbes reported that his wealth now comes from several key areas, including his real estate holdings in Truth Social, the parent company of his social media platform.
There was blood pouring everywhere, and yet, in a certain way, I felt very safe because I had God on my side. I felt that.
Trump owns 65% of Truth Social, which was valued at $4.6 billion after shares jumped by 32% following the Butler rally. Add to that his real estate portfolio, Trump Tower in New York, multiple Florida homes, and the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas, along with properties like Mar-a-Lago and golf courses across the US and Europe, valued at $1.1 billion. And let's not forget the $410 million in cash and liquid assets. So, while Trump might have diversified his portfolio beyond stakes, he's certainly not putting all his eggs in one basket. Now, if you thought that was all, hold on, there's more. Trump's making headlines not just in real estate, but also in the plastic surgery world. Rumor has it he's been spending big bucks, possibly more than Melania, on looking like, well, Donald Trump.
I was surprised.
Leading cosmetic surgeons suggest he might have dropped a cool $1 million on enhancements, including hair transplants and hairline-raising surgeries. And if you've ever wondered how that famous do stays intact, even in a stiff breeze, now you know. His late ex-wife, Ivana, even mentioned he had scalp reduction surgery to perfect that signature look.
Would you not like to get back together with him?
Nope.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, you would like to get back?
Nope.
They say beauty will save the world. Guess Trump's just doing his part, one procedure at a time. Okay, enough about Trump. Let's talk about Kamala Harris. If Trump's financial history reads like a thriller, Harris's wealth is more of a slow-burn success story. According to Forbes, her net worth is valued at about $8 million. Nothing to sneeze at. And it's grown by about $2 million since 2019, thanks to a combination of real estate, government pensions, and a few other savvy moves.
I grew up a middle-class kid. My mother raised my sister and me. She worked very hard. She was able to finally save up enough money to buy our first house when I was a teenager.
First up, real estate. Harris and her husband, Doug Emhoff, own a swanky home in Brentwood, California, worth $4.4 million. But don't let that fool you. They still owe on the house. Apparently, even presidential candidates need mortgages.
Because look, the bills add up.
This 3,500 square foot 4-bedroom home is less than a mile from the Sunset Strip, making it prime real estate for anyone who wants to enjoy California's finest. Harris also sold a couple of apartments in Washington, D.C. and San Francisco in 2021, netting some tidy sums. In Washington, she paid $1.775 million for her apartment in 2017, and in San Francisco, she bought a place for $489,000 in 2004 and sold it for $860,000. Not bad for a little appreciation.
It's been a great process.
But it's not just about real estate for Harris. She's also got $1 million tucked away in state, local, and federal pensions. Plus, there's a solid chunk of her wealth in retirement accounts and investments, not to mention Emhoff's 401k. All told, they've got between $1.79 million and $4.4 million in retirement savings.
Happy anniversary, Dougie. I love you so very much.
They also keep between $850,000 and $1.7 million spread across 4 bank accounts, with one joint account holding $50,001 to $100,000. And when it comes to giving back, they've made some big donations. Howard University, 2 California colleges, and other nonprofits and religious groups have all benefited from their generosity. Last year alone, they gave $23,026 to charity.
I mean, I can't tell you how many mothers of homicide victims that I have hugged who came to me and said, I only want to talk to Kamala.
Oh, and did I mention Harris is a published author? She's penned 3 books. The Truths We Hold, Superheroes Are Everywhere, a children's comic book, and Smart on Crime, which she wrote back in 2009. Her books have brought in some decent cash, especially in 2021, when she raked in $450,000. But it seems the royalties have taken a nosedive, dropping to $80,000 in 2022 and just $8,500 in 2023. What a plot twist. Seems like the politician's image might have overshadowed her authorial ambitions. So how do Harris's and Trump's net worths compare? Well, the short answer is, they are vastly different. Trump's wealth is in the billions, even with a few bumps along the way, while Harris is sitting around $8 million. But here's the twist. Politics has shaped both of their fortunes in significant ways. During Trump's presidency, his net worth averaged $2.86 billion per year, according to Bloomberg. He even hit $3.1 billion in 2017, 2018, and 2019. However, things started to slide downhill after the January 6 Capitol riots and the impacts of the pandemic on his real estate holdings. Trump's fortune dipped to $2.5 billion by the time he left office in 2021, and Bloomberg estimates that the presidency cost him a cool $700 million. Also, a 2019 study found that once people learned about Trump's big inheritance, they started questioning his business skills and presidential credentials. Turns out, it's hard to look like a self-made success when you've been backed by a massive family fortune.
Everybody love you, or does everybody hate you?
No, most people love me, and a few really have great distaste for me, David.
On the flip side, Harris's financial picture has steadily improved. Sure, her salary took a hit when she left her job as California's Attorney General, but her and Doug's combined income has kept things rolling smoothly.
Some of the stuff we could take for granted years ago, we can't take for granted anymore.
They've managed to build up a comfortable financial cushion over the years, and the vice presidency hasn't hurt either. So, in what ways do you think Trump's and Harris's net worths shape their public images and influence their chances in upcoming elections? Join the conversation below, but remember to be respectful.